Hold up. Restart.
Bro, you do
No.
our names and then say part 2.
No. I was introducing it, and then we were gonna all say our names.
No, because
Don't look at me like I'm a moron. Go.
No, I think it's better.
Because
I do the
there's-
intro. You do the thing. They say the names, and you say this is gonna be part 2 of blah blah blah. You
Okay,
know?
whatever. Go.
I like that.
Okay.
Welcome back to the Deck Podcast.
Where we talk about everything philosophical.
We have Dane and Emily.
And Caitlin and Katahdin.
Alrighty, y'all. We have some fun stuff today. We are talking about prisons and the abolition of these structures and these things in our society that are a little, controversial. So let's do a little. Oh, sorry. This is part 2.
Yep.
'Cause we talked about
Yep.
other people's views in the part 1, but now it's time for ours,
Yeah,
which is
now
this
it's
is the fun part, right? Okay. So let's do let's just take a vote, a poll real quick, and give a yes or no answer. Should we abolish prisons?
Yay or nay? Okay.
Yeah or nay? Yeah or nay, Dan?
Should we abolish prisons? Nay.
All right.
I say no.
Wow. 2 no's.
I also say no.
I say yes.
Just kidding. You're entitled to your own opinion. Okay. I guess let's all explain why. Mr. Yes, do you want to start or do you want us all to say no first?
I'll start.
Okay. Hit it.
It's not a full yes, actually. So maybe.
So it's a no.
So maybe
It's
it is
a
a
no.
no, but it's a yes no maybe.
Okay, so you're on the same page that I am. Where like, no, we keep them, but we change them.
Yes.
Right.
That's
No,
what I was
we
thinking
add.
too.
We add. So what we do
you
is
add.
we reduce because there's so many.
You
That's taking
what?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
add to reduce?
You
You're
add,
changing it.
You
You're
add
changing
other
it, dude.
aspects. Right. You're changing them. No. Well,
Yeah.
no. I mean, I still feel like there would be a purpose. And Caitlin's making fun of my gesticulation. I need my hands, guys.
Dude, big
we need a
words.
video.
Oh, speaking of big words.
Guys, we're getting off topic.
No,
already.
just real quick, because this is relevant to today's class, where we said, what was it? We said want or want a lot.
It was
want a lot. No, we said
dis-
want
Want
a
a lot.
ton.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
And so
Desire.
you know what somatic satiation is?
Clue me in.
Yes.
Okay, so somatic satiation is that thing you get when you say or hear or read a word so many times that it just loses all meaning, right? And you like forget to spell it and stuff.
Like you
That
did
happened to
today
me
with
today.
want.
Yeah, I forgot how to spell want because I was saying and writing
That's
the
so
word
funny.
want so much that it just became like a jumble of letters. I like forgot how to sell it, how to
Sell
say
it,
it, how to spell it. Forgot everything, dude. I was
That's
freaking
so
out.
When you forget to sell a
funny.
word, I mean, how to sell a word? You
Well,
lost.
No, but you've had that happen,
No.
right? Somatic satiation. Where like
I don't
just
think so.
Where they
Wait.
lose all
Yeah.
meaning.
You've never had that happen before?
My thing is tomorrow. Like the word tomorrow. I don't know what it is about it. I can't spell it.
Well, that's kind of hard to spell.
That's a different
problem. So I
No,
think
like-
prisons. I think,
Moving on.
I think there should
You
be
hear it so
other.
much.
There should be other methods for quarantining people or detaining people, possibly people that are unstable and that maybe are a risk to society. I feel like there are much better ways we can go about quote unquote protecting others or protecting them from hurting themselves and hurting other people than just throwing them in a prison. Like I feel like there are great rehabilitation centers that, Dane, I'm getting to you. You are on the docket. I think there should be, these rehabilitation centers where it's not that you are being like chastised and thrown into jail and stuck with people who are not going to be, helping you work with yourself, and instead not thrown in somewhere, but put in a place where you can recover. Dane?
Well, I just noticed how you said quarantine right there. Would you like to go over the example given from the podcast we listened to about how he compared disease and
Right.
and what was it? Crime
Yeah.
and disease?
Yeah, who was
It
that?
was criminal justice.
I forgot his name, bro.
Who-
We could check. Let's see.
All right, you check on that. Yeah, so anyways, we listened to the podcast. What was the name
Dude,
of the
I'm
podcast?
like Jamie from Joe Rogan.
Justice
and retribution.
Yeah.
by
Wait, let me find it.
by,
It was for Monday.
what was the who put it on what podcast?
Hi-Fi
was this?
Nation.
Hi-Fi Nation, right. So in the podcast, this one philosopher, I believe, gave a great analogy between like the health care system, sort of the health the discipline of
It's Barry Lamb, who's the
medical
I think that's
area.
his main.
And between that and then
It is
the
very
prison
lamb.
system and crime. And so when somebody has a sickness, right, we can treat them, we can, at the most extreme, we can quarantine them, but it's not like we're banishing them from society, right? And there's also a lot of preventative measures that, what was his name?
Barry Lamb,
Thank
I'm
you.
pretty sure, right?
There are a lot of preventative measures that these medical personnel and associations are put in place to prevent things like this from happening. Whereas with crime and those sorts of things, there's not very much preventative measures put in place. And so he was saying, what if we quarantine people instead of stick them in jail when they do something bad? Like, and I mean, there's hard duty crimes, and then there's a lot of lesser crimes that people are thrown in jail for that I think could be otherwise dealt with better.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Dane just pulled up the quote from the podcast where it says, "The analogy between disease and crime is almost perfect. We do not treat the people who spread the disease as being at fault or deserving of punishment. Rather, we're supposed to use the government's resources to prevent a spread. And when that system fails, we use quarantine or shelter in place in ways that are not punitive? Yeah.
Punitive.
Punitive. And so, like, that just goes back to what Katahdin was saying.
Like prioritizing,
yeah.
like fixing the behavior over punishing the behavior.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
'Cause, like,
if people are just sitting there in a cell, people aren't going to learn from their mistakes.
They're just going to be more,
necessarily.
they're going to have more negative feelings towards authority figures because it kind of, I don't know, it just,
Yeah.
it
Yeah. Go ahead.
creates a negative relationship with law enforcement and like dealing with criminal behavior, because like if you treat them as people, they're more likely to treat others like that. Like I was watching a documentary about a school in Walla Walla, and they have a lot of kids that have like, they grew up in really, really, really rough households, and so they like were the kids that did like bad in school, and they were treated like that, and so then they acted out like that. So if you treat someone like how you think they're gonna act, why wouldn't they act like that?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So you gotta like teach that like people care about you, like I don't know.
Yeah. Katahdin, did you have something to say?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh,
You got this, bud.
What was it? I forgot. Oh, it was something about. Nope. Yep, I lost it. Sorry.
That's okay.
Go ahead. Dan.
Okay.
This is related but not perfectly on topic, but I know that my group in class, we were talking about like, okay, you think we should abolish the prison system or at least change it, so what would you do? And a lot of people in my group were talking about how they'd want to make it easier for felons or convicts to get jobs after getting out.
Yes.
But the argument was brought up that might not necessarily be a problem of the justice system, but a problem of
Society.
the media and the people, because it's not like just because you have that on your record does not like yes, people are less likely to hire you, but people are less likely to hire you because those people do not want to hire ex-convicts.
Especially like it really depends on the crime too. If it's a violent crime, it's like it's really, really hard to do
but
it.
that's the thing.
But like
if it's
white
any
collar
crime,
crimes,
even
like,
those.
no, they're like there's just certain ones.
Well, you get arrested for theft. People
Yeah.
still want to arrest
There's
you
also
for
certain
theft.
jobs like where you can't have any criminal record.
Well, which is kind of understandable.
Yeah,
that
but
makes
like,
sense.
and then it just narrows it down more and more. So maybe just like as a
Yeah.
One thing
Can I finish my sentence?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I think just like as a society, we need to like create more opportunities, because a lot of like issues of like going back to crime.
What do you mean? What do you mean create more opportunities?
Create more job opportunities.
Okay.
Because like when they can't find a job, like that's when they turn to crime after they get released. Most of the time. So
Yeah.
One thing
you can
is I think, well, in terms of like retributive justice, because this is where this all came from, right? This was the whole thing we talked about in episode 5. And that was like, you do a crime, you get punished for said crime, regardless of like the previous circumstances. And so I think one thing that could be changed is like there's a clear difference between someone who steals out of desperation, like their family's starving, they're starving, they're cold, things like that, versus someone who steals for the sake of stealing, or just
like,
because they felt like
it.
stealing. And so the fact that those two people get the exact same punishment and are put in the exact same scenarios, and then on top of that, the fact that people who've commit crimes like theft or other things go to the same exact locations and could even be like cellmates with actual killers.
Because we
right,
Yeah.
like
there's
they all end up in the same place, and I feel like that's something that could
because like there's like
I agree.
different levels to prisons. Like I think there's 3 different levels. I'm not 100% sure, because you have like maximum security prisons, like those are like hardcore killers or whatever. I don't
then
know.
you have like solitary and
Yeah,
stuff.
that kind of stuff. But my other thing was for like theft, for people who just do it to do it, we should look more into like the why.
Well, maybe
Because,
they're
like,
kleptomaniac.
Well,
It's impulsive. They can't control themselves.
then because we need to assess why they're doing something, and if it's like something psychological, put them in therapy for that, not just, oh, you do that to do it, like, well, you suck, prison, like that's it. Like you gotta address, it's like putting a band-aid on a bullet hole. Like I don't know.
Yeah. And I mean, like, something that I was also thinking, or this is like my thought of it, of abolishing prisons, is that you, like, what I think, it kind of just goes back to like what everybody is saying, but, or like all the statements that have been made, but I just think that I feel like there should be more opportunities for them to not just necessarily learn from what they did or, you know, whatnot, but like I think that there should actually be like ways that they can like
Grow.
Yeah. Instead of just
like there's some prisons that have like college programs where like
Yeah,
they
and-
can leave with a college degree, and like
I think that would be really awesome,
'cause, like,
honestly, with
instead
like,
of like spending their time just like doing nothing, like
yeah.
using that time for their future.
Yeah.
What
exactly.
do people do in prisons?
Normally they just
Not
I
What do you
think it's
do?
I think it's mostly you just
Stare at the wall?
sit there, yeah. And like you get like
It depends on the
you get time for like outside and stuff, and you can
there's
like
TV
go and do
time.
stuff. But like you can spend time outside and like sit in the sun or like play basketball or something like that, but like there's not really any activities as far as I know. There's not really activities that you can do.
There's like jobs you can have, I think, that kind of stuff. But
Yeah. Also, sorry, this is a little off topic, Kirsten. Sorry about that. But you guys were like talking about the different levels. I know that. Sorry if this is like a sensitive topic. But child molesters are actually put in solitary confinement because they will get killed in prison from
I've
other
heard
prisoners.
that. Yeah.
Because people are just they don't mess with that. Yeah. So that's one reason why they have different levels, is to keep like
People separated for like safety.
for safety. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I think was it Marilyn on the pod on the Justice and Retribution Hi-Fi Nation podcast that had that program that she started a nonprofit that was basically prevention and getting people out of, or making sure that it was preventing people from going to prison, and the officers would send these people who had committed maybe small crimes to her place. Anyways, they took like some large percentage of the offenses, offenses that you could put people in jail for. They reduced it by like a large amount, didn't they? And anyways, her work I feel like is beautiful and like wonderful, and I think that is. She's not doing anything with the prison. She's not taking prisons away, but she's literally defunding the prisons because people are not going there. Like large amounts of people are then not going to prison because of the work she's done. And I think that is a huge aspect to this, and a huge way to not abolish prisons, but at the same time you're taking away their purpose.
We also need to look more closely into like privately owned prisons.
Aren't all prisons privately owned? They're businesses.
Yeah, they are.
I thought there's some state ones.
Well, there's like state penitentiaries.
Yeah,
and
like
stuff.
that kind of
Federal.
Correction centers.
But
So-
most prisons are like businesses that are
so we
run,
probably
like,
should look
profitable.
more in. You're kind of suspicious that you can profit off of people who committed crimes.
Exactly.
Well, have you ever heard of lawyers? That's their literal job.
Well, they're trying to save
They're
people.
Well, not all of them.
Yeah, that's
Some
true.
people are trying. Their sole job is to put someone in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lawyers
I know.
they're a gray
Anywho,
area. Okay,
I
your
just
thing.
wanted to point out the fact that, I mean, regardless of what change happens, some sort of change should happen, because we know our current prison system sucks, because it's like 70-ish% of people who get out commit the
73.
exact same crime again.
And
77?
Oh,
76?
Well, it's like 70%-ish,
Yeah,
you know?
right.
Approximates.
Not good.
Yeah, so
Shouldn't
obviously
happen.
something needs
Yeah.
to change.
Something
like
needs to-
regardless,
Right.
That's why-
regardless of what it is, it's like the evidence is against our current justice system.
that's why I think, like, I totally agree with that, and that's why I think that they need to change the, like, stuff that they do in prison, because just having them sit there and think about what they've done is not working, clearly.
Because, like, sometimes giving someone too much time to think is not a good thing.
That too.
So,
Yeah.
if you kind of stir in your own negative emotions and just make
Yeah.
them more.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, what else do we have?
Any thoughts? Any more thoughts to add?
That's pretty good.
I mean, there's not much more.
I feel like
Unless
we all were in agreement, even though our
Yeah.
original polls were.
My main,
Well, I mean, you guys, all three of you guys.
my
agreed.
main thing is just adding more like therapy and more psychology into
Yeah.
prisons instead of just being. Because you got to talk about your feelings, got to
True.
figure stuff out.
So we do think that there is a place in society for prisons. Are we thinking like hardened criminals need to go to these places? Is that what we're thinking?
Well, I think everyone can go there, just if it changes, if it's a little different.
So the actual prisons need to.
Yeah, why not? And I mean, like, let's be real. Some people should be put there because they do absolutely horrible and disgusting things.
Like what I mentioned.
Yeah, and then like some people, like the dude who's starving and steals because he's gonna die and needs
Yeah.
food, like that
probably
guy.
shouldn't be put there.
No, he should, but it's a different system. It's a different system. Like, yes, he
Yeah.
committed a crime, and yes, he should be punished for said crime, but he should not serve the same as someone who's done something much more extreme.
I
Okay,
agree.
touching on like how certain crimes get, like, the severity of them gets, some get more time than others. Like how a drug crime can get like 2 to 5 years, but sexual assault can get like 6 months. Like that doesn't, I don't know, it's not really fair.
Yeah.
Well, there's also the thing of like, like if you have a lot of clout, like you're a big guy, you're a big guy, right? you're not gonna, you might not serve as much time, or even if you do,
Like famous people.
yeah, like even
Yeah.
if you do serve time, it's like, oh hey, by the way, you have like bail, like,
You can pay
a couple
yourself
months
out.
in, and then it's no problem for you. But it's like,
Bail doesn't necessarily work like that. Bail.
well, let me continue, please.
Can I just explain bail real quick?
No. Anywho,
Just let him finish
Yeah.
his thought, and then you.
well,
can
I think what our teacher gave the example of like you get caught with drugs and you serve blank amount of time, and then like the swimmer for where was it? Stanford?
Oh yeah.
The swimmer for Stanford.
It's something like that.
Who
yeah.
took drugs?
Who drugged a girl and then sexually assaulted her,
Oh.
and
Got
then
6 months.
served 6 months,
Oh yeah.
and then got out. Where the the
Mhm.
person you get caught with some drugs and you're in there for 3 years.
'Cause You
Yeah.
can get caught with like the tiniest amount of like marijuana, and like.
Not in Washington.
legal.
Well, actually, if you have a certain amount, you can get.
What?
Well, you just said the tiniest amount.
It really depends, because if you're driving, that's another
Or a minor.
situation.
Well, yeah, but
Well,
if you're just
duh.
if you're in a different state where it is illegal, then
Yeah. So
Womp
there's a
womp.
lot of
Yeah.
different.
Oh,
But like,
well.
yeah,
Well.
West Coast, Best Coast.
West Coast, Wet Coast, Best Coast.
Yeah, that's what
That's
I'm
what
saying.
I'm talking about.
which is how like.
I do not
tiny-
support smoking marijuana.
Whoa,
I just wanted to say that.
This is a different podcast.
Because it
Next
might have
podcast.
sounded like I did.
It did.
It
Let's say
but I
like,
don't.
It
I
sounds
don't.
like you're smoking it right now.
I don't support it, dude.
let's say like.
I
when-
am very health conscientious.
Yeah.
All right,
So-
next pod drugs.
I'd
No.
do a whole pod talking
All
about
right.
drugs. I'm being real. That'd
So
be
let's
fun.
wrap this up so we can get
Hey,
to
we
that
could
podcast.
do that. Yeah, let's do that.
Let's go. But you guys, I do not think somebody who has committed a pettier crime should go into a place to go into the same system as somebody
like a murderer.
who's murdered, somebody
agree.
who's assaulted,
I agree.
like sexually. I don't know. There's the severity is so different. I feel like it just has to be a totally different system.
Yeah.
We need to have certain places for certain people instead of just like freaking like pool of everyone.
Well, that's why I said that there's like different levels,
Yeah.
like you said, and it just depends on
They should
the
just put us in charge.
severity of it.
Alrighty. Anything
Yeah.
else?
No, I think that's
Dan?
it.
D-Dog signing off.
E-Dog signing off.
K-Dog signing off.
Check back in for episode 7.